They're singing along with Price and Stock's walk-up music.
Out at home plate, what a play by Hoffman! He got him, and the ball game and the series are over. Home run for Kyle Schwarber. And the Phillies have the National League Championship.
Welcome back, Chasers, to another edition of the Quit Chasin' podcast. A little cheeky, a little irreverent, and always unqualified. We're here to talk Phillies baseball and a little bit of life. I am Alex Kruger, and this week, Danny is scouting West Coast baseball locations and saying goodbye to the Oakland Athletics. As one can imagine, it's nigh impossible to replace Danny, but we didn't want this ride to stop. So filling in, I'd like to welcome in our special guests. You know him as our Jake Cave correspondent. Well, he's grown a full Garrett Stubbs since then. Please welcome in Carter Vance. Carter, say hi to the folks.
What's going on, guys?
Coming in hot. Really good there. Really good. And because no little brother is allowed the spotlight without an older brother getting caught up in his feels, we are also welcoming in his older brother and somehow taller brother, Gavin John. Gavin, welcome to the show. Say hi to everybody.
How's it going, everyone?
Oh boy, we are in for a hell of a ride, guys. You are bringing some A-plus stuff. Full disclosure, folks, when we knew that Danny was not going to be joining us this week for the show, and he kind of gave me the allowance to reach out and find different co-hosts. A lot of different minds went through my head. I didn't know who I wanted to go with. And then I remembered that this is the United States of America, where nepotism still works. So I have with me my nephews, Gavin and Carter. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. I'll be honest. The main reason I invited you on was because I knew that you wouldn't flake or bail on your uncle. So thanks for showing up, guys.
Almost missed it.
You did.
Really proud to be
We
here.
had some technical issues, but I'm really happy that my millennial ass was able to teach you a thing or two about technology. Having said that, you guys, unlike me, were very, very athletic in your youthful years, which was like 12 minutes ago. So, Gavin, I was hoping that you could share with us a little bit what your baseball experience was like, how long you played, where you played positionally, all that jazz. What do you got?
Yeah, so back in the old days, like you said, I played for 10 to 11-ish years. I mainly pitched, and I also played first base a lot, as well as 1 year in Little League when I was the star player on my Red Sox team. I was the shortstop. Yep. I ended up quitting after my sophomore year just due to lack of appeal for the sport and the coaches not being the greatest. So naturally, the next year, they went out and hired an amazing new coach.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then I also chose to move on to bigger and better things with my running career.
With your running career, cross country
and track. Yep.
Okay. And we just had the Olympics in Paris. Were you there for that?
I was not there. No.
Oh,
I was following it though.
No, maybe we should have stuck with baseball. I'm kidding. Carter, how about you? What was your baseball history, baseball background?
Man, well, it feels like a long time ago, but I guess I'm still young. I started Little League from around 5 years old and played it for 7 years. Played a year or two of Junior Legion. Helped assistant coach back at my same Little League for a year. So a lot of bouncing around. Never really made it to the high school level just because of all the, pandemic stuff. Boo. But yeah. I always still have love for the sport. Been a Phillies fan for 17 years.
Wow. Now, did you just boo the pandemic?
It was not fun.
Okay, that is a scorching hot take. That is that's some good stuff. So yeah, that actually does kind of segue perfectly into the next part. So you guys are Phillies fans. You've been Phillies fans your entire lives, which, Gavin, yours started in 2009. When did your life start? 2005? When were you born?
2005, yes.
I'm not a great uncle, folks. I don't know these simple
things.
Okay. So, all right. So you were alive for some of the heyday, some of the good moments. I thought so. So tell us a little bit, like what is your kind of best and earliest Phillies memory when you were like, yes, these are my guys. I am a Phillies fan. What's the earliest memory you have from that?
So the way I realized that I was like a true fan, like I always knew my parents were fans. I always like wanted to be a fan like them. But when I realized I was actually a fan myself was the first time I felt pain from the Phillies.
Ooh,
like
go on. When
like
was that?
the dark ages with like Gabe Kapler, Michael Franco, Odubel Herrera. Sorry, Phillies fans, for the PTSD with those names, but yeah,
No, get it out, brother. It is time that we exercise some of these demons from between 2011 and 2022 because
yeah,
there are some names to get through. There are some experiences that
yeah.
you guys, because so you were born in 05, so you were what, almost 4 years old. No, 3 years old when the Phillies won the World Series. So
Yeah.
old enough to be alive, but old enough to remember, that's debatable.
Mm,
Tough, man. Tough. How about you, Carter? What's kind of your fandom in your heart?
Man, well, I mean, Gavin summed it up pretty good. Those dark ages really felt a good heartbreak, but I'll never forget going to our very first Phillies game with these Chase Utley and Ryan Howard puppet things that we'd hold in our hands and screaming and them being our individual favorite players. He was a big Ryan Howard guy. I was a big Utley guy. That was just a real like heart moment for me. Like, wow, love these Phillies, man.
That's awesome. So, all right, then, having said that, and Gavin experiencing the Ryan Howard career, is he still one of your favorite players?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes.
Really? Even after all this
Yes,
time? Just,
absolutely.
man, I mean, I was a Jason Worth guy, so to each their own.
Ooh.
Oh, stop. Bullshit. 2009, he was absolutely on fire. His horse just won one of those horse race things, okay? We do not besmirch Jason Worth in this house.
Okay.
My God. Folks, before I get too upset with my nephews, I think it's time that we go over the week that was. Now, as you might recall, the last time we recorded, the Braves had just lost to the Philadelphia Phillies to open a pivotal series. We started to acknowledge the team could be turning around, and then came the next game. Atlanta 7, Philadelphia 2. Ranger was in danger early, and Orlando Arcia hit 2 different home runs. I said before, I say it again, we cannot allow a jabroni like Arcia the chance to punk us. Lads, I'm not sure there were a lot of enemies for the Phillies as you guys were growing up. Where does Orlando Arcia rank on your list of God, I hate this guys?
Oh,
Gavin, you're first.
yeah,
There he
yeah.
is.
So, in all of baseball, like that I've known, he's up there mainly because of him being a Brave, and I hate the Braves. But I don't think he's up there with like people that I really hate, like Judge, Soto, and especially Alonso.
Mm.
Um, he is one of those guys though that like I feel like he's just trying too hard to be one of our rivals.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that. Like he wants to make the rivalry a thing.
Yeah, but he's trying way too hard.
Damn, that's good. That's a good take. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Carter, what do you got?
I think I think as time goes on, you just develop these deep, deep hates for people. For example, I will never forget what Gabe Kapler did to us. Never. He might be within my top 5 most hated people as a Philadelphia fan.
All right, so there are a lot of reasons to hate Gabe Kapler. Which one exactly is it that
God.
you're, because I hate Ruben Amaro Jr. and I could go on for an hour and a half about what he did dismantling the 2008 Phillies with sheer Schadenfreude. So what is it about
Yeah.
Gabe that you hated, Carter?
Just the roster decisions were not smart. It really wasn't. I hated it. I thought he was being stupid.
Okay.
But like other guys, like I think I can agree, or everyone can agree, the entire 2022 Houston Astros roster might be on the top of my list for most hated.
Okay. I mean, I get
There's still
that.
some open wounds there. Really, there's still some really open wounds. And
I
then,
have more
of course,
open wounds with Arizona, for the record. More open wounds with
mm,
Arizona than I do
that's
Houston. But
fair.
you go ahead. I'll go on a quick Arizona rant after
Yeah,
this, but you go ahead.
I mean that's fair. But Acuna definitely is just one of those guys that you hate because he's so good.
Yup.
Um, Arcia is just one of those guys that like, okay, you're just gonna make comments in the media for fun, but like,
You know he's never
I
going
think,
to hurt you when it matters.
for sure. And then just hitting those 2 home runs was like, wow, I really, really dislike this guy. You know?
Yup. Yup. And the nice thing is he's not a Philly killer. He's not. He's of the Philly killer on that team is Marcelo Zuna. But again, Marcell Ozuna is one of those dudes that like I hate him because he's a Brave, but like, when he does hit a pretty home run, it is beautiful.
I'd
I
have
miss
to
Danny.
agree.
I miss Danny. Danny would not have let me hang in that moment. Okay, I need you boys to step up your game here. Gavin, are you even paying attention? What is the look on
Yeah.
your face? Yeah, all right, all right.
I'm
Just
okay.
making
I'm
sure.
here. I'm here.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. All right, no, that was a good segment. Good work, boys. But the next game, Atlanta 0, Philly 3. Zach Wheeler, ladies and gentlemen, 100-game winner. Fun fact: his first career win and 100th career win both came against the Braves. Trey hit a bomb.
Wow.
Sosa did his job filling in for a still injured Alec Boehm. And even though Michael Harris robbed Hayes of a home run, who gives a shit? Scoreboard. This game was on Fox. So instead of hearing John Smoltz spend 3 hours talking about which Braves players has the most impressive inseam every day for the weekend, I listened to Fransky. And you know what? That's never a bad idea. Now, Gavin and Carter, given that you're not old enough yet to drink, of all the divisional opponents, rank who you hate the most, or from most to least. And Carter, I'm going to go with you first this time. All of our division opponents, who do you hate the most, all the way down to
Jeez.
who gives a shit?
You know, I feel like in some points in this season, I really felt like I needed a drink. But I think I'll start at the bottom of my list, and
All
that's
right.
the Nationals. You
Because who
know,
cares?
I think they're just irrelevant at this point. Like, I don't hate you guys. Thanks for Harper. I mean, thanks for Harper. Thanks for Schwartz. Thanks for a little bit of Turner. You know,
Eventually Soto.
but yeah. And then rounding out the fourth, I've got the Marlins. They're kind of just that little brother. It's just like we will always be your father, and we will just always beat up on you. It just does it's just how it is.
I get that. As a little brother myself, I totally understand. Little brothers.
Second for me is the Mets. I think just a lot of history from our parents, from older generations. Like we were taught F the Mets. That was what
Muck
we
the
were
fest,
taught as
baby.
kids.
How
Muck the
did
Fest.
your if I know my sister's level of passion, and I know her levels of rage. If you were to walk around the house and say, "Hey mom, what do you think of David Wright?" How long of a diatribe? Okay, Gavin, your face right there says everything I need to know. How much does your mom hate David Wright more than Joe Buck?
Oh, that's tough.
That is tough.
She hates
That's
Joe Buck.
She
Ooh,
really hates
it's
Joe Buck.
close.
It's amazing.
It's
But no,
close.
so I love that. I love that the Mets are your number 2. So I
Yeah.
imagine we all know what that means for number 1.
Yeah, I think there's just such a deep hate for the Atlanta Braves.
I love it.
Whenever one of my old friends in middle school was a Braves fan, every time the Phillies would lose to the Braves, I would hear it and I would just want to throw hands almost. It was
So do you guys know why the Braves have such a national exposure, relevance? Are you guys aware of kind of what was going on in the 90s, 2000s era?
No.
All right. So at one time, the Atlanta Braves were owned by Ted Turner, who owned Fox, TBS, all that jazz. Okay. So the Atlanta Braves were always on TBS. So no matter where you were in America, because TBS was national cable, you could watch a Braves game, whereas you could only watch a Phillies game in Philly. So a lot of people that just kind of wanted to follow baseball but didn't have a local team would latch onto the Braves. And it didn't help that they were really good at the time. So that's why there are so many just annoying Braves fans out there. So you got a little history lesson for you.
Yeah. I actually didn't know that. That's actually pretty cool. I mean,
Boom.
well, still, I hate the Braves.
All right. So the question is,
just a deep hate.
next time you see Nana, you got to ask her, all right, Nana, Alex told that story about the Braves. Were you aware of that? Because she was around that time and she might know. And she listens. So, connect with your grandmother. All right.
You gotta always listen to the elders.
I love it. What about you, Gavin? Do you have any, what's your ranking of least to most hated opponent in the division?
So least, I honestly forgot about them. I didn't even have them on my notes. The Nationals. I just completely forgot they were a team. I completely forgot they were there.
So
if you look at my notes,
the World Series in this millennium, which is hilarious. But fair enough.
I
It was
just
a Mickey
completely
Mouse
forgot they
World
were there.
Series.
It was.
It was such a Mickey Mouse World Series.
And then next I have the Braves. They started to get a little bit more relevant last year with Jazz Chisholm. Then he left them for the for the Yankees, which whatever.
When you say Braves, do you mean Marlins?
Or I meant Marlins. You're right. Sorry.
Gotcha, buddy.
Yeah, they kind of made a name for themselves last year, but not a whole lot. Number 2, my mom's gonna be upset at me because I'm sure she wants me to say fuck the Mets. But I have the Mets at 2 because ever since they lost the Grom, they just haven't been the same.
Wow.
They just haven't been able to come back as like that team. And number 1 is easily the Braves. Like, not even close.
And I do have to wonder, like, where that generational divide is, where your number one rival just historically is the Mets versus the Braves, because there is that tipping point in time. I'm sure of it. I honestly think because of when my fandom started, the Mets haven't been relevant since 2001. So honestly, they've done a couple of things. Like, yeah, Syndergaard was cool, DeGrom was dope, Batman Harvey was awesome. David Wright is just such a douche. So like they existed, but no, the Braves have always been the team that actually was threatening and had success. So I think both of your lists, whilst being identical, were 100% spot on. Nicely done. So that's going to take us to our series finale. Atlanta 2, Philly 3. We knew it wouldn't be given, and we knew a split wasn't going to be good enough. Casty now has 4 out of 8 walk-off hits this year, as his hit in the 11th inning does the job. Casty really likes to single-handedly beat the Braves from September on, as he accounted for all 3 runs. Whit Merrifield is starting to look like Phillies Whit Merrifield in Atlanta, and I truly believe I saw what I needed to see to believe we have a chance in the postseason after all. All right, lads, this was the series. What did you learn about this team that you didn't have an answer for before, and what questions do you have that still remain? Gavin, you got the floor.
That Casty is him. I love Castellanos.
Shit.
I love
Love that.
Castellanos.
So
he is clutch.
Where were you in the beginning of the season when he was anything but? Because, like, as you know, I am a Casty acolyte as well. By the end of May, it was really hard to be like, Casty's the dude. He turned it on. But, like, so where were you at the beginning of the year?
At the beginning of the year, it was tough to be a Casty fan, and when people asked who my favorite Philly was, I was like,
Embarrassing. Yeah,
it's Castellanos, but he's gonna make a comeback, and I was always hopeful for him to make a comeback, but I knew he had it in him.
Okay.
He's my guy. I'm never not gonna believe in him. You know.
I love it. What else did you learn, good or bad? Or
that
they're need to know
that they're gonna be able to compete in the postseason. Again, at least against the Braves, they're gonna be able to compete. One thing that I still don't believe yet is what's gonna happen if we don't get the bye, or if we do get the bye.
Amen, man. You know what? I was thinking today, like, I've been completely anti-bye for weeks upon years, and I actually caught myself saying, maybe we should get the bye. Like, maybe we should try and get that bye, because while I know the bats go cold, man, the fact that Bryce Harper got hit by 13 pitches up in Toronto and both of his elbows hurt, he's been dealing with a nagging wrist injury since May. Like, Bohm has been injured for like 6 games now, and we were told, oh, he'll be back for the Toronto series. Well, he didn't come back. Oh, he'll be back for Miami. Game 1 in, and he's not back. So, like, what aren't they telling us about Bohm that we need to know about Bohm? I think it's amazing that Cassie, the night after he got hit, was playing. I mean, DHing, but still, like, playing the next day. I am a little bit concerned with the way that the injuries seem to be piling up, and the fact that with what Harper's going through elbow and wrist wise, he just hasn't had the power. And that's been tough to watch. So, like, I don't want to go cold, but we might need a couple of extra ice baths to get through what we need to get through.
Yeah, it's all about the turnaround of the bats. That, like, if we can actually make a quick turnaround and figure it out, then we're going to be fine. But if we look like we did after the London break and especially the All-Star break,
oh yeah,
it's going to be rough. Like, we're going to have to heavily rely on pitching.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's really fair. How about you, Carter, the other one?
I think after watching that Brave series, I learned how clutch the Phillies are. 33 comeback wins this season, tied for ninth in the MLB. And they've had 6 ninth-inning comebacks, which is tied for first in the MLB. When I saw those stats, I was like, wow, I've never seen that before. That's really cool.
In all your years on this earth, you've never seen that before.
That's cool. I mean, like,
I
to
mean,
see
that's
that from an
cool.
MLB team.
And it's so weird because I've been espousing for weeks that like I don't feel that this team has an identity of clutch, but like you read that like how do we not have clutch when that's a statistic that is, but it's so weird. It doesn't feel like it. Let me ask you guys a question that I don't know if I'm prepared to answer, but if at the end of the season, all right, end of the regular season, we end up with the best record in baseball, okay? Are you happy with getting there, having the super peak at the beginning of the year, followed by the super valley, or would you rather have gotten there while being a bit more even on the way there? Like, I mean, having that magical run from July until London was super cool, man. Like Danny and I, after weeks and weeks, were like, damn, this is a weird year to start a podcast. We have nothing to bitch about. Well, thankfully that changed in a hurry. But like, I don't know. Would you have rather been consistent the entire time to get to that record, or would you rather have that super high? Even with the super low, like having that super high was really, really refreshing and rewarding for two guys that haven't really got to enjoy a parade down Broad Street yet. There's a lot in that question.
Yeah, so like for me, I really appreciated the high. I did. I really appreciated it. But the low also like killed me once I realized, wow, like we suck right now. Like this is not good. If we keep playing like this, we might not even make the playoffs. Like if we
I
were to
was
stay
never really
consistent,
worried about that. I'll be honest. I never had a doubt in my mind. I thought we could easily be a first round exit, and I still am not convinced we wouldn't be. But continue.
yeah, like it was cool to look at it. If there was the consistency, I don't know how much I would have appreciated it. I don't know how many games I would have even watched. But the high in the beginning of the season was really cool. So I would much rather take the high and the low.
All right, man. I dig it. I dig it. How about you, Vance?
You know, I think some of those championship teams, the teams that are able to make those runs, are teams that are able to stay consistent through the season. They can manage injuries. They are able to manage their players well. They keep consistency, a solid pace of wins and losses. I think it's definitely scary to see if we go through a super high like we had in this during the regular season at the beginning, and then crash at a time that is not good, like in a conference championship or a DS. That would be way more heartbreaking for me. But I think staying consistent is what builds those championship teams. Those consistent teams that you see coming in really could. Those are teams that make those runs, those really deep runs.
I like it. I like it. Gentlemen, that was a fantastic conversation heading over the Atlanta series. But let's go international, lads. Let's go up north. That's right. We're going to the land of, I don't know what maple syrup. I don't know. It's Toronto. So Philadelphia,
Robin
Toronto, guys.
Shabbatsky.
Oh, that's right. You do watch How I Met Your Mother. Did you get to the end yet?
I finished it.
I did not. I didn't.
Okay. All right.
I took a pause once school started.
Gavin, we'll touch base then. Carter,
Yeah.
I'm excited for when you get there. But Gavin, we'll touch base offline. Have a conversation of your thoughts. Having said that, folks, in the first game, much like the final season of How I Met Your Mother, it was a bit topsy turvy. Philadelphia 10, Toronto 9. So this game started 6-1 in the first inning. I decided to spend time with the girls instead of watching the stupid game, but then I saw it was 6-4, which was cool. Quickly turned into 8-4, and I was sure they were cooked. But after I put the girls to bed, I noticed that Schwarber hit his third homer of the game and finally put the Phils ahead for good. All right. Now, okay, gentlemen, I don't know if you knew this before I sent you the agenda, but fun fact, the Phillies now have a pinch hit RBI in 3 different countries this year. Even weirder, They have not hit a second pinch hit RBI in any of those countries, even America, where we play a lot of games. But honestly, lads, who cares? This was the Kyle Schwarber game. After going something ridiculous like 70 innings without a homer, he breaks the team record for most leadoff home runs in a season and seems to really enjoy every time calendars turn to the next month. What is Kyle Schwarber to you guys? Because you did grow up during that era when the Cubs were doing their thing. And when he was kind of like everywhere he went, he seemed to be productive. And like, I never hated Kyle Schwarber. Like, I always respected his game. The Phillies sucked by the time he was coming up. So like, it wasn't a real competition or anything. Like, what do you think of when you think of Kyle Schwarber?
I think of home runs. I mean, I think of home runs personally, like the Schwarbomb, the Schwarber Fest from Wawa, everything like that. I think of like bombs, absolute nukes.
I love it. I love it. That's for you saying Wawa in a congratulatory tone. I'm a Sheets guy. If you listen to the show, you would know that. Carter, who is Kyle Schwarber to you?
Oh, well, I think outside of the whole, absolute, just so much natural power and like athletic power from the guy. I think of a teddy bear sometimes. He can just be such a teddy bear, I feel like.
You know what, man?
But
Like, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
he just feels like such a teddy bear kind of guy. But he definitely gives electricity to the fans of Philadelphia when he produces like that, and he has for every single city he's been in, whether it be Chicago, whether it be Washington, whether it be Philly. He has always been pretty much almost a fan favorite, if not the fan favorite.
It's wild, man, because if Ryan Howard would have had Kyle Schwarber's stats last year, we would have run his ass out of town. Like, and that's the crazy thing. Ryan Howard was never allowed to hit below 200. I don't think he ever finished a season below 200. I still assume he always hit 130 on the season. But like Ryan Howard actually had a decent batting average. Kyle Schwarber, man, like before, like last year was tough, and there's just something about it, man. There's something about his leadership, his gravitas. Like, all right, Schwarbs, do what you gotta do, man. When he turns it on, life's good. Life's real good. That was the first game of the Toronto series. Next up, Philly 4, Toronto 2. This was the first time all season I was genuinely shocked when I went to see what time the Phillies played, and I learned it was already the 5th inning. At that point, Schwarber had already hit his second consecutive leadoff Schwarbomb, tying the record of 13 in a single season with Alfonso Soriano. Then the Phils gave the lead away rather quickly before Sanchez rights the ship and steers us to clear waters like the Bay Area where Danny watched a game staring at last evening. I miss him, guys. But Cody Clemens keeps making a case for the postseason roster, and JT Realmuto decides it's better to ignore the Rogers Center turf by just hitting the ball out and giving us the 9th inning insurance run. That was a whole lot of fun. Did you guys get to watch any of the Toronto series?
I
My roommate
actually
watched a little
caught
bit of it.
All at once. Yeah, that's a great way. That's good
Go ahead,
content.
Carter.
Oh, that's kind of you.
I caught the 10-9 game, the first game of the series. I was eating dinner and I was just watching the 6-1. I wanted to absolutely scream at my TV. And then as they started coming back, I was like, wow, but this is kind of a fun game.
I have not seen that level of, I'm going to say the word, resiliency yet this year. There have been a lot of games where we've fought back and we've clawed back and we've done some shit, but we were losing by 5 runs in the first inning. We got it close. We then were losing by 4 runs halfway through. We then found a way to take it back over, and it wasn't just Schwarber's 3 home runs. We still needed 4 more manufactured runs other than that, and like, I don't know. This team can go cold at any given moment, but damn, man, if they hit a heater at the right moment, shit, anything is possible. Gavin, how about you? What do you think of that series?
So yeah, I watched all of them on that. Oh, hold up, that projector right there on my wall with my roommate.
Nice.
And I wasn't really paying attention to a lot of them, but the games when I did, like it was pretty cool. Like seeing the Schwarbombs. No, it was a pretty good series. I liked it.
Let me ask you this: as a Ryan Howard fan growing up, who has better Like, oh my God, home runs. Is it Howard or is it Schwarber? Because they both have very distinctive, like, dude, the way I will say, I'm not a Howard fan, but the big dick energy that he had when he would hit a home run and just like drop his bat and like watch it for a quick hot second before he started rounding the bases, it was like,
Oh yeah.
oh. And Schwarber does that thing where he hits a home run, he's like, oh geez, did I really do it again? Like he just tilts his head a little bit. He's like, I guess I gotta run all 4 bases now. So like in your opinion, who has the better like home run like the muted celebration?
Definitely Ryan Howard. The slow, like
Okay.
bring it through, and then this just ease it off. It's awesome. I love it.
It is really cool, man. The way that he would just drop the bat, like, yep, I just did that. But then I don't know. I gotta go with Schwarber and his whole like, oh shucks, I did it again. I hit it a piss missile mile. How about you, Carter?
Oh man, I think for me it's got to be Schwarb. Just like I said before, the teddy bear effect. That this guy is just like there's something about him. This energy that he brings to the Phillies is just like not only this veteran presence, but it's just this goofy guy.
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, lads. So let's look at some splits recently. All right, Carter, you are such a stats guy. You said you had 2 pages of notes. I am so excited to see where you're going to Billy Bean the shit out of me in this next segment. So let's see what stuff we got. So
I
the
love that
last time,
reference. It's great.
I know you do. So the last time that folks considered that the Phils were back, they jumped the gun at the Dodgers series in the beginning of August. All right, the Phils took 2 out of 3 and then won the road opener in Arizona for good measure. Then we bottomed out for a week, getting trounced by Arizona and even getting blanked by the Marlins. Then Schwarber hit that grand slam, and everything started to go right again. We had a good roll going against Washington, stumbled a wee bit in Atlanta, but then won series against Kansas City, Houston, Atlanta, and now we've swept the Blue Jays and started with a win against the Marlins. They are 15-6 in their last 21 games, and their worst losing stretches was 2 different back-to-back losses. That's it. The only series we lost was against the Braves in Atlanta. I will say we did end up playing only 8 away games, but hell, we went 5-3 there. So, gentlemen, I ask you, how do we feel about these Phils? Carter, I'm starting with you this time.
I think it's really, it's really interesting those splits. I think the run that they've been on has been really impressive across some of these away games and traveling. I think there is some understanding you have to take in with that stumble in Atlanta. It's the Braves division rival. They're gonna, fight like hell to want to win against us. But I feel really confident and really hopeful, hopeful about the run going into this end of the season stretch here. There's a lot of winnable games that we can play to make a push, maybe for a 1 seed. Maybe see if we can beat out the Dodgers.
I wouldn't hate it. Gavin,
It
how
would be
about you?
great.
It would be.
Overall, I'm liking them. I mean, like, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to say other than just like they're playing good. They're playing good baseball right now. There's like a couple nitpicky things that you can do here and there about what certain players are doing, but I believe that they're playing pretty well as a team and individuals.
I love it. I love it. Gentlemen, you guys, as you've alluded to kind of throughout this whole thing, have been a part of the Phillies at such a fascinating juncture. So, Gavin, as you were coming up in the world as a toddler and such, Chase Utley was coming up in the world. Now, as you are coming up into the world as a man, Bryson Stott is coming into the world like a man. So I gotta know, with this being the first time as Phillies fans that you have experienced sustained success, um, what what in your life has led you to where you are in response to, like, your hope meter? So I am pretty nihilistic, I'm a millennial, I'm almost 40. Obviously, I do not have a rosy outlook on the world, especially when it comes to sports. And I'm a Dolphins fan, as you know. So haven't had a lot of good luck. So I usually believe the worst. Like, are you in a spot where you're able to believe in the best, or have you become so fillied up in your short 18 or 19, I forget how old you are, years, that you're already believing that, like, no, the bad thing's going to happen. Good things don't happen to us. Where are you at?
Yeah, so I go in as a pessimist. Like I'm
boy.
completely honest. I'm completely honest about that. I go in thinking the worst. We're gonna be first round exits, and then I let myself be surprised if we're not. Like I'm hopeful that we make it far. I'm hopeful that like we can put together a good thing. But like overall, I'm going in as a pessimist and hoping for the best.
You watched Ted Lasso, right?
I did. I watched the
Oh,
first 2 seasons.
It's the hope that kills you, man. We know that. It's the hope that kills you. How about you, Carter? Where are you
I
at with
think
all of this?
I think I might be on the opposite end. I'm pretty optimistic here. Whenever I see success, just in general from a Philly sports team, it makes me want to like just gleam with joy. I think the amount of like deprivation we went through in the mid 2010s to late 2010s in terms of Philadelphia sports, I think we deserve some success for once. I think we deserve it for all of the crap we had to go through as Philadelphia Phillies fans, as Eagles fans, as 76ers fans. It was a very dark time for those three teams.
So screw the Flyers, huh?
Well, the Flyers are always bad. It's
Oof. Oof.
They
I
were
don't,
they were good this year. They were
I
good
don't
this
know
year.
enough about hockey to have an informed opinion about that, but I think they were actually decently competitive.
Yeah.
So
He
all
gets that
right.
he gets that all from being against me and my dad because me and my dad are both pessimists. So he needs to counteract us.
I get that.
yeah,
I get that. That makes sense.
I'm
You,
so
you always got to
optimistic.
have that one. So what you're
Yeah.
saying is Carter's the cool one.
No, no, I'm saying he's the odd one out. I'm saying he's the odd one out.
Oh,
Sometimes it's not a black sheep in the family; it's a white sheep in a family of black sheep. So you never know.
yeah.
You never know. All right, so we do this with every guest that we have that comes on the show. We have a very important question that we always ask them. Gavin, because ranking and hierarchy, you came first, so you get to come first again. I have a very important question. Love it or hate it, poop series. Nope, I'm kidding. Danny, that was for you. I know you're laughing right now. So Gavin, I want to know, where does this Philadelphia Phillies season/postseason end? What is the last game that we play? Who is it against? And what is the outcome?
So I'm hoping it's not against a crappy team like in the NLCS again, like the
No hopes. No,
Diamondbacks.
no. I need you to put some hair on it and have a real ass take. Where is the season ending? I need you
They're
to make
ending
a
in they're ending
prediction.
in the World Series. They're ending in the World Series. Like I'm
Are they
fully
winning
believing
it or not?
it's gonna go 7 games. I'm not
Not
sure if
an
they're gonna win
answer.
it.
Damn it.
I
No, you're
I
making a
I
prediction.
legit I don't know.
No
I don't know.
waffling. No, no,
So
no. Pick.
yes, they're
Who are
gonna
they
win it.
beating?
They're
Then
gonna
who
win
are
it.
they beating? Are they beating the Yankees?
Yeah. I think the Yankees will make it that far.
I think they will too. And
I
if
think they
this is
will.
the revenge for 2009, I am here for it. Sometimes the best sequels wait
Hell yes.
15 years. Carter, where does this season
So,
end? Against whom?
man,
Yeah. You know the deal. Go through it. What up? What you
man,
got?
I was writing out the rest of the regular season schedule. So we've got what, 7 games? We got 3 more games against the Marlins. We've got 7 against the Mets, 3 against the Nationals, 3 with the Cubs, and 3 with the Brewers. Looking at all those games, I'd say every single series is winnable. Um, I've got the Phils at 99-63 at the end of the season. They don't crack 100,
Wow, that's
but
rude.
that's
That's
enough.
just rude, man. I
I
mean,
know, but
Danny would love that because Danny believes, and
it,
I agree with him, that the Phillies have problems with achieving round numbers. So to end the regular season
Mhm.
at 99 would be
Yeah,
so Philadelphia. I know that Danny would love that.
it
So thank you
would.
for
It would
bringing
be
him here
such
to support.
a ripoff to all Philadelphia fans to
I
not
love it.
get the joy of that triple digit number. But I
Oh,
still
I love
think
that.
they still grab a bye, first or second seed, doesn't matter to me. I think they storm their way to the World Series and it ends with a parade inside Philadelphia.
Who did they beat to get there?
Yankees in the World
How many
Series they beat
games?
6.
So you're saying we clinch it at home in game 6 against the Yanks?
Philadelphia style.
Fuck. That's pretty good, guys. That's
The
pretty
amount
good.
of the amount of joy I would get from a Philadelphia fan beating the Yankees at home.
That is true.
Just it
I
would feel
will,
so great.
and I will say, Gavin, you're in a pretty good spot because when the Phils won the World Series in 08, I was a senior in college, man. Like that was a great time to be a world champion and to be celebrating that whole postseason
Mm.
run. So I hope you get to experience that. I hope nothing but good things happen to you as a Phillies fan. I love it. So give me your predictions in the postseason. What guy is going to like so
Mm.
2008 postseason was really about Cole Hamels. Okay. So who is, since you're both predicting a World Series win, who is the story of the entire postseason for the Phillies?
I'm hoping it's Castellanos. I'm hoping, but that's
My
not going to
man.
happen. It's
My
not going to
man.
happen.
No, it won't. But my man, I love that answer. How about you, Carter?
But
Oh wait, no, go ahead, Gavin. Keep going, buddy.
but realistically, like either Trey Turner or Schwarber. Those are my outcomes.
Okay. I like it. I like it. What about you, Carter?
For me, it's got to be I've got to be basic with it. But since the day we've signed him, I have been in love with him, and that's Bryce Harper. He's gonna battle through whatever's going on with his elbows and wrists, and he is going to prove that he can still win, and he can still win at that level in the World Series. I can
Damn.
feel it in my bones.
Can I tell you my response, my immediate knee-jerk reaction to that? His best
Yeah,
two season will go down as 2022. The Bedlam at the Bank. I don't know
you know.
if he's going to do that in a World Series game, because if he does, great. But if not, I think it's going to be real hard for him to top Bedlam at the Bank.
I think he's still got some left to still prove that. Maybe give it a run for its money, Bedlam in the Bank.
I love it.
I
love
truly
it.
believe that. I love
Would you
him so much.
rather would you rather he in the postseason have a 412 batting average or have 11 home runs?
Wow, that's tough, man.
So
I
411
think,
bat
but
or yeah, 400 batting average in the
whew,
postseason or 11 home runs.
I I think you've got to stick with consistency is going to be the theme for him, and that's got to be the 411 batting average.
Ga-
Consistency is going to be key for him.
Gavin, same question. What would you rather have for Harper if
It
you
all
could only have
depends.
one?
It all depends on where the home runs are. But I'm still taking the home runs because if the odds that they're clutch is high, so I'm taking the home runs by far. Like
Honestly, guys, that's so funny because Gavin, you're a Ryan Howard fan. Carter, you're a Chase Utley fan. Both of your answers perfectly align with their games, and that makes me so happy. Gentlemen, this was a whole lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming on and filling in for Danny. I'm going to give you the floor. Carter, anyone that you want to give a shout out to, anyone you want to give any
uh,
love to, etc. This is your moment.
uh, Loved my uncle for letting me come on again.
It's good pandering. You've
th-
learned from Bryce.
always love coming on. That's all I gotta say.
Appreciate you. How about you, Gavin? Anyone you want to say hi to? Any? You got the floor.
hi to everyone, hi to my family, hi to Uncle Alex. Thank you for letting me join. Like he said.
You stole his pandering. It's not as good when the second guy does it, but go ahead.
I know.
Keep going.
But hello to my roommates. I don't know if they're watching, but and yeah, that's all.
I love it. I love it. Gentlemen, thank you guys so much. To all of our Quit Chasing fans out in Chase Nation, as you know, we typically end the show with a song. That's Danny's thing. I am not tech savvy enough to make that work. So this week, this is just call it Quit Chasing Junior. Okay, we're having fun. It's me and the boys. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you. We'll do better next week. Danny's gonna come back, and that's great. We all love that. Carter Vance, Gavin John, thank you guys so very, very much. Danny, I hope it's okay I say this, but we all know an ant can't move a rubber tree plant.